Norton Shores native Mark Hoeksema has been called the godfather of West Michigan surfing.
People say that to me, especially the younger kids, because I have a gray beard. Yeah, it's been fun, super fun. Yeah, I don't have any kids of my own, so watching them grow up and tear it up and progress, it's been a blast.
The 47-year-old Hoeksema was 14 when his father introduced him to the sport, but he's mostly self-taught.
Yeah, I'd literally come home from school, my mom would make me do a certain amount of homework, and I would throw my wetsuit over my shoulder and the board under my arm and run through the woods about 3/4 of a mile to Lake Michigan and just surf the ocean beach break. You know, later in high school we had a small crew of 7 or 8 guys at Mona Shores that surfed regularly together, and a small group that windsurfed together too. And I was in both those groups, so I was kind of, doing everything whenever I could.
Now Mark spends as many as 150 days a year on the water, and his fiancée is on board with that schedule.
She's used to it. She knows I need it. She encourages me to do it so she doesn't have a little crybaby at night, whining about things. So she knows it's good for me to get out there.
Hoeksema enjoys all styles of water sports, but his #1 passion for the last decade has been kiteboarding.
You're being pulled by this invisible force, of the wind, planing off on the water of the lake with constant varied terrain. Everything's changing every nanosecond. I mean, it's constant flux. It's just, it's awesome. You're just taking in a perspective that you've never had before. You're on the water and suddenly you're mast high on your sailboat, just looking down at things, and you got 3 or 4 or 5 seconds to chill out and kind of take in that quiet time when you're in the sky and have a little bit of that freedom feeling. You're right up there and there's a seagull flying by your face, right? Hey dude, floating upside down and backwards, hoping you're going to stick the landing and not, break your fibula or whatever in 6 places or something like that, or knock yourself out cold.
Mark surfed in the ocean in both California and Hawaii and admits he's not ready to compete against the world-class athletes, yet Lake Michigan provides a challenge of its own.
Yeah, I mean, the lake throws everything at you. I relate it more to pinball, and you're the ball, and you're, hoping not to tilt the machine. I mean, generally, I'd say you're 90% in control, and then, the 10% is when something you're not in control, and that's when something might go wrong, you know what I mean? Even if it's just for a second. So I broke my leg, I broke my ribs a couple times, a couple concussions, sprained ankle, bursitis in the shoulder now.
Surfing's still relatively inexpensive, and West Michigan is a great place for beginners to discover the sport.
We're pretty lucky here. We have amazingly large public beaches, and it gives you a fair amount of room to learn, I'm connected with Cabrina Kites and Matt Kiteboarding out of Grand Haven, so they let me play with all the new gear every year, and so I'm a little spoiled in that sense nowadays. Yeah.
Mark's a professional photographer. He was already well known for creating family photos, but this past fall he started combining his 2 passions, water and photography.
Photographing Lake Michigan from the water, swimming in the lake and getting photography of the spot, literally, that I have enjoyed for years recreating. And I've turned it into my art form by trying to get these artistic images of the water and the sky and everything. The beautiful fall we had was really motivating.
Mark's new works are on display in Grand Haven at Carolyn & Company Fine Arts and Crafts Gallery and the Unruly Brewing Company in downtown Muskegon. But you can often observe Mark performing his other art form at Pier Marquette Beach.
It's probably one of the coolest spectator sports, So everybody loves the colors, and then, this guy goes flying 30 feet in the air, and oh wow, how do you do that,
Hoeksema is a young man in body and spirit, but at age 47 he knows he must make some compromises on the water.
I might have to start taking it easy sometime, but done some stupid things, jumping over boats and break walls and icebergs and things like that. But it's all in good fun. It is an addiction. It is a full-on addiction. There's times where I just can't not go. I can't help myself.
So it sounds like when it comes to surfing Lake Michigan, even the Godfather sees an offer he can't refuse. In Muskegon, Fred Inglis for Local Sports Journal.